friends, welcome back to our summer scale challenge. This week we are on week 3. We're going to cover D major and B harmonic minor. Now, if you've studied these scales before in one octave or more, you know that B minor is where your left hand fingering starts to change. It might take a little bit longer to get comfortable with your scales from here on out because some of them have different scale fingerings. That's because we don't want to put fingers 1 or 5 on black keys. So we're going to change things up to avoid that, to make your scales nice and easy to play. The more we do, the more patterns you're going to see to these different scale fingerings. So once you kind of have learned them, you can zoom out and see the patterns and solidify them a little bit more. But for now, what I'll say is if you're doing 1 or 2 octaves or more, just maybe leave a little bit more time. See if you get to the piano a little more frequently to practice this B minor scale, and your fingers will thank you. It'll start to pay off in a few weeks once you start to get more of these different scale fingerings under your fingers. So if you've made it this far and you complete this week, you will be 1/4 of your way through all of your major and harmonic minor scales. Okay, let's build a major scale on D. We're going to follow our major scale formula. Whole. We need a whole step here. That'll bring us to F sharp. Now a half step. Whole, 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 half. If you want a more detailed explanation, go back to your week 1 C major and A harmonic minor, and we'll go over really carefully how to follow the scale formula. But just following our formula, we found that if we started on D and used our major scale formula, we ended up with F sharp and C sharp. So let's try that in your right hand. Your scale fingering is not going to change here. These are the same fingers that we used for G major and C major. The difference is the terrain. We have 2 black keys, so we kind of have to practice moving your fingers in the keys just a little bit more and going up and over them. Let's try your left hand. And hands together. Now, don't be afraid to go back and do the process that we did before over and over and over again, where we kind of worked on coordinating your hands. So if you need to play the first 3 notes and the first 4 notes to practice completing that cross and so on and so forth, that might help you to gain a little bit more control and clarity in your D major scale playing. Next, we're going to go to B minor. If we start on B and simply take all of the sharps that we had in D major and apply them to B, we're going to get a natural minor scale. I'll show you quickly. Right? We had our F sharp and our C sharp. But remember, we're going to do the harmonic form of the scale. So we're going to count up to the 7th note of the scale and raise it a half step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be A. So we're going to have an A sharp, which means that these are the 3 black keys that we're going to use, and your terrain is going to really kind of go like up and down. I would focus on keeping your fingers in the keys as opposed to moving in and out. That way you only have kind of one extra movement to navigate. So a B minor scale on your right hand will look like this. Now here's where we get into different scale fingering territory. If we started with finger 5 in your left hand, watch what happens when I get to the F. I would end up with my thumb on the F sharp. General rule for scale fingering is that we don't put 1s or 5s on black keys. So we need to change the fingering to accommodate that and to avoid putting finger 1 or 5 on a black key. So For B minor, you're going to start with your fourth finger. And then you're actually going to cross on finger 4 here instead of 3. So 4 is going to go to F sharp. Bring your whole hand around and relax it. 3 on G, 2 on A sharp. And then back down the way we came, all the way to finger 4. Thumb tucks under, gently lands on E. Pull your hand back around. So again, all together, your left hand is going to look like this. Hands together will look like this. Right hand crosses, left hand crosses 4 here. Thanks for joining me again this week, friends. Keep up the good work, keep up the practicing. The more you let these cook, the better they'll feel under your fingers, and it just takes a little bit of time. So make sure to give yourself just the time and exploration you need at the piano to make these scales work for you. I will see you next week, and in the meantime, I hope that you enjoy the music you make in your home.